All right, guys, let's get started. Rafi Chowdhury here with Influencer Spotlight, the place to go for all things PR and personal branding. And today we're going to talk a little bit about using Haro, Haro, to get press coverage. And if you're not familiar with Haro, it's basically a website and stands for Help a Reporter Out. And what it is an online platform to gather public feedback. So let's get started. All right, so how to get coverage using Haro. You guys already know what Haro is. It's basically a place where journalists and companies who are looking to get featured come together. Journalists are obviously looking to get information and data and quotes and things like that from different types of experts in their in respective industries. And obviously, experts are on there to get quoted and mentioned all around the web at various journals and different types of publications. So are you looking to get your company featured in press for free, I should add? Journalists and big publications are very, very selective when it comes to choosing a story they would want to publish or write about. Catching their interest isn't easy. And if you've ever tried getting in touch with a writer or a contributor or someplace like that, you know exactly what I'm talking about. They're really, really hard people to get to. But if you can get a platform where public opinion or anything that can get you a slot on their editorial calendar is worth all that effort. So if, again, like I said, if you have something interesting to share, if you have a newsworthy story to share, instead of going out there blindly trying to find random contributors, why not take a more inbound approach and just go to the contributors that are actually looking to feature people such as yourself and for looking for quotes and interesting stories from entrepreneurs such as yourself, and go pitch directly to those journalists instead. And if that's what you're looking for, then Haro is here to get you be basically your rescue guide for all of these, for basically free press for your company. So what you'll get from Haro is daily rounds of current stories or topics where you can contribute or share your expertise or experience and get instantly noticed by the press or by journalists. And they're seeking stories to feature on Haro. So how do you use Haro, and how do you find topics that your company is experts on and that you blog about? You have to join Haro, obviously, and click on the topic most relevant with your expertise or services. You can get thousands of options that are your niche base or fall under your expertise or experience. You can really narrow it down to exactly the thing that you do on a day-to-day basis, the thing that you have years of experience doing, and share only within those particular niches. So signing up is pretty easy. It's free. It doesn't cost anything. And I've used this amazing tool personally to get questions from different bloggers, journalists, editors. All these guys are interested in what my expertise are and how I became what I am today. Some extra tips and tricks to source their next story. So I have gone on there to get press coverage from my own brands personally, but I'm also on Haro as a journalist looking for stories and things to cover in my stories. So I'm kind of like both sides of the coin here on Haro. I'm there as a journalist, and I'm also there as a brand. On top of that, I also get in directly into my inbox and gather up my next story or feature article on whatever is setting new trends in the market. So basically, I use Haro just like any other journalist would. I try to figure out what are the biggest trends and what's going on in my industry, and use that, obviously to interview certain individuals that are experts within that on the trends that I'm writing on. So when you guys see my articles coming out and it's all fresh new content, it's valuable information, it's because I interviewed a ton of people, a ton of experts to figure out what people actually are struggling with, what people actually want to learn about today that's relevant, that's current. So what's the catch? Well, there's really no catch, but It does allow more filtered resources to get noticed and featured in the media on the foundation of your expertise and what people are looking for at the right time. So it basically is a way to kind of for you to be able to filter down and get exactly to the topics and that those journalists are writing about. And if you're a journalist, it lets you really narrow down and find the exact people that you're looking to interview for your next publication that or whatever article that you're writing next. This is a screenshot of what kind of a persona looks like um, on Haro. So this is David McSweetney, just a random persona that I picked. And he has a website called Ahrefs. He's got a blog called Top 5 SEO. He's got his Twitter handle. He's got some about section on there. So you need to fill out your profile just like this in Haro. And my first tip is if you're looking to make your profile on Haro to be exact and precise about yourself, so just share as much as you can. So fill out the Facebook, fill out the LinkedIn, and just be as detailed as you possibly can. Mention what you do and what you're an expert in. Include your company, blog, website, Facebook, LinkedIn profiles as well. Then add your detailed, updated bio to get people in your field to be interested in you and to learn more about you. It's just as simple as basically filling out your Facebook profile information. The more information and the more thorough you are, the more people will know exactly who you are and what you do, and the easier it'll be for them to search and find you. Subscribe to the emails and get daily notifications, but delete them after 24 hours time. And the next slide will tell you exactly why you should be doing that. So Haro is a daily dose of press and emails. You can view these notifications late within the day, but if they're not in store for a leisure break reading, meaning that they're going to hit you with a whole bunch of emails and they're relevant for that day pretty much, but after the day, there's no need to save them because you're going to get a whole fresh batch of emails from them the next day. This platform keeps rotating the trending news and media coverage on a daily basis, and next day it'll be something totally different that you're going to read. Unless you need to save it for whatever reason, you can just go ahead and delete the emails on a daily basis and just let the new fresh content be there for you the next day. So obviously, like I mentioned before, Haro is completely free, and it's a really organic and free way to get press coverage for your brand. And if you are a writer, it's a very free and easy way to interview and to survey and to get quotes and mentions and insights from industry experts on anything that you're writing on. Getting featured in a big publication or newspaper isn't that difficult, especially with services like Haro, but getting noticed is a little bit more demanding. You've got to be detailed and quotable. Express yourself in a manner that people can relate to. If a journalist is interested in your story, pay attention to the detail. Focus on what you need to do to be better. Focus on what you need to do better rather than telling something totally off the hook. So be relevant, be straightforward, and make sure that you tell your story in a way that resonates with your target audience and with that particular journalist as well. So don't lose focus, stick to your story. And I have several videos out there on how to tell a story that sells. So you need to watch that if you haven't watched it. And boom, that's it. You'll definitely see the results after you express yourself and fine tune your pitch. And I've got plenty of videos on how to deliver and how to write a pitch that actually gets to journalists and editors and makes them listen to you and makes them reply back to you. So I'm going to throw you an extra tip as well. Make sure that you have your signatures modified with updated contact and social media information, like add your LinkedIn account and website in your signatures on your email. Because when you reach out to these publications and journalists and individuals, you're going to want to make sure that they instantly know exactly who you are. And the best way to do that is to let them know through your email signature. So your pitch is obviously the most important thing. Focus really, really hard on this part because your pitch ultimately can make or break everything. A general rule of thumb is that don't move away from your topic. Deliver what you can in the how you did type of way. Not hard and fast rules, but yes, everybody wants to read something different. So stating your niche related information is helpful. Journalists and editors love to pitch something unique daily, so focus on how you can pitch yourself. So the main point that I'm trying to make here is that you need to make sure that you're like on point with your pitch, and you're only talking about that particular question or topic that the journalist is talking about, but you also want to share your particular experience with it, and you don't want to share generic advice either. You want to give very detailed and specific advice that's creative at the same time. So you have to stay on topic, you have to be creative, and you have to be detailed and specific and talk about how this personally you personally have experience with that topic. So you got to take those three things into account when you go to pitch yourself. Send 2 to 3 pitches daily. Let writers come to you. And I talked a little bit about having this inbound approach earlier. Instead of blasting hundreds of writers with just a random cold pitch, these writers you already know are looking for press. They're looking for quotes, they're looking for mentions, they're looking for industry experts. So go ahead and send a few pitches out and wait for them to respond, and let them come to you and take a more inbound approach towards this. So what I like to teach all of my students is to make something unique and get the instant touch of appreciation. So if you have something unique, if you're telling your story in a unique way that resonates with your target audience, this part becomes super, super easy. And getting leads through Haro is the most easiest way to get recognized, not only locally, but also internationally, because Haro has people from all over the world. There are journalists from everywhere. There are experts, industry experts from everywhere. So it's just a huge networking platform, and you can make some amazing and very valuable connections off of this platform. So you can respond to 2 to 3 pitches daily, and this will allow you to get personalized and focus on your expertise without losing the original thread. So the whole idea here is that you want to make sure you don't want to be a generalist, you want to be a specialist. So make sure that you are an expert into something very, very specific, and not just generally going out there and saying, oh, I'm an SEO guy, oh, I'm a marketing guy, oh, I'm a copywriter. Be very specific and say, I have substantial experience in this one particular domain, and try not to be generic. So your online presence needs to show you as an expert in your particular domain. Like I said, this way you will get the daily boost of leads, obviously coming to you because you're an expert, as well as writers, journalists, editors, all will want to contribute to your story to them. So you will get multiple journalists and editors coming to you if you have a really compelling story. And it really helps a lot if you already have press coverage elsewhere as well, and it's kind of taking off. That's when you get the snowball effect with PR. So in this next couple of slides, I'll teach you the checklist of what it takes to give a winning pitch on Haro. So understand your question well before you respond. Just stop and read it really carefully to see exactly what is he asking, what is she asking. Whatever I'm saying is very important. Every Haro query is different and unique. Blindly responding to something will make things worse. And this is something you'll need to read and understand completely. So pay attention to the question. Make sure that you understand the question. Make sure that you actually know the answer and can give valuable insights on that topic. If you're not an expert on it, it's better just not to answer anything ridiculous. Only answer things that you know well, and always stay on topic with your answers. Be vigilant and concise about what the person is actually looking for. Express yourself as an expert in that particular domain, and explain why your advice is the best thing they can ask for. So you have to validate yourself immediately and let them know that, hey, man, I'm an expert at this. I'm really good at this thing. That's why I'm answering this question. Don't annoy the reporter with different stories and things like that are tangential. Answer the question with what you think should be the best way to answer it and how they could be handled. Even if you'll not make an impact, you'll still let the other party know that you mean business. So even if they decide not to use your answer or not to quote you or whatever, you're still at least giving it your best shot, and they can see that, they can tell that usually. Journalists are always looking for the next scoop. Your story needs to be just really good. You have to have a good story. Like, that's the thing, is that if your story isn't good, then it's really hard to sell it. So make sure that your story comes from a unique angle that resonates with that target audience, and it has to appeal to their emotions. And that's what makes it attractive to not just the audience and readers, but also to the journalists. They're looking for something like that. Your tips that you give should be to the point. All of these big brands need something unique to feature. So if you're not unique and noteworthy, think of how you can present your story in a way that makes it unique and noteworthy. Just always remember to never be generic. That is the best advice I can give on PR, is don't be generic. Be extremely detailed, unique, and present some very unique and interesting and different and weird angles to things. That's what gets you into PR. They're hungry for the scoop, so tell something that they can't resist sharing. So key attributes of an actionable insight. You have to, the context of what you share, relevance, specificity, obviously how specific you are, how relevant you are, what context are you speaking in, and obviously novelty, how original is what you're sharing and the knowledge that you're sharing with that reporter. Share actionable details and insights. Don't be vague. Always make your advice actionable, something they can read, turn off the computer, go and try right away, is the kind of things that really gets you into magazines. First thing first, reporters and journalists are very busy people. Unless you really do have actionable insights, don't respond. Again, unless you can provide some really, really effective how-tos and things that actually will help the context of that article, contents of that article, just don't respond to it. You just make a really silly rep for yourself, and you're not gonna, it's just gonna be harder for you next time to respond to stuff and be taken seriously. So only respond to things that you know really well. They don't want to read crap. Obviously, they want updated information which is relevant to what they are seeking. In case you don't know the theory, don't write the paper. Like, I can't comment on how to do a successful surgery, but I can tell you every bit of insight on PR and personal branding. So I'm not out there answering questions about how to do plastic surgery. I'm not out there answering questions on how to take out a brain tumor. I mean, I don't know that topic, but I know PR and I know personal branding. And anything that comes up in Haro within those realms, I'm going to try my best to answer those questions if I know the answers. So stick with what you know best. Give what you can in a way that you hold peace in their next blog or article. So make sure, again, that you're pitching them in a way that makes them want to come back to you over and over and get more of your insights. Okay, so this is why it's so important to only comment and respond to things that you know really well. So here's an example of a bad pitch. Hey, I saw your Haro query. I'm a PR expert and know a lot about this stuff. I'll be glad to answer any questions you may have. Regards, Rafi. Well, here's an example of a good pitch. Hey, I read your Haro query about personal branding and how to get instant media coverage. I'm a growth hacking specialist and a PR expert. I've also written the best-selling book on PR and personal branding for my audiences. Here are my tips to your query. Number 1, express yourself in your niche as the guru of all with strong insights on your brand. Number 2, focus on how your brand can beat all the odds and shine in the limelight. I'll be happy to discuss both these in detail. Looking forward to reading your article. So if you don't see the difference between a bad pitch and a good pitch, I want you to really, really pay attention to this part, because this is what 95% of people that want to get into PR, this is what they do. They say, hey man, hey, first name, whatever. They may address you for their first name, by their first name, and say, hey, I love what you do, and yeah, I'm an expert in this. Let's talk. Okay, you're not giving them any particulars. Like, be specific as to what you're doing. Versus the good pitch here is saying that they read their Haro query, you know, and noted this is about personal branding, instantly qualifying them as an expert in this by saying, I am a personal branding and PR expert. And I've also, and qualifying instantly by saying, I've also written a book on this. I personally haven't written a book, but in my case, I would say, hey, I'm an contributor to big name publications myself, so I know a thing or two about PR. I have a huge personal brand, so I know a thing or two about personal branding. and then gave my 2 tips, and then said, hey, if you have any more questions and if you want me to expand on these 2 topics, let me know. I'll be more than happy to do so. Far, far better pitch versus compared to this one. This is being generic and this is being very specific. Detailed response will get you noticed. Again, detailed response will get you noticed. Don't be short and simple. Okay, this is one of those places where you really want to be detailed and thorough with your advice to the extent that the journalist is looking for that. Always be precise with your words. And when I say precise, I don't mean like be brief with it. Be precise, meaning like just to the point, but sharing the information without going on tangents, but detailed enough to where there's enough content in there for that writer to use. You're not writing a whole blog. 500 words will be enough to show the reporter or journalist that you truly are an expert. Make your Haro pitch to the point. Don't get into the writing, the stories, and like I said, extra stories and tangential things that don't really matter and answer the question they're asking. Efficient and precise, actionable tips and insights can get you featured without going the extra mile. This shows that you can, you know what you're doing, and the value of your time is easily seen if you can give some precise yet detailed, actionable advice. So here's a quote from Tom Stoppard. It seems pointless to be quoted if one isn't going to be quotable. It's better to be quotable than honest. Okay? So when you give these quotes and things like that, just keep that in mind. Just be, make yourself interesting by taking an interesting approach to it, but stay on topic. Share something quotable instead of stories. Say things that are like, can have like a deep meaning that resonates with that audience. Always share your tip or insight in one single quotable phrase. This will get you featured instantly. For example, use free tools to generate leads. This will save time and energy. By me, right? So I just gave a very simple, to the point tip, and I gave basically I said it's actionable, right? I mean, like I'm just saying exactly how to do it, and it's in one sentence. And these are the type of things that publications, and journalists like to quote. So tell them briefly about certain resources on your website and share something that can be used in a link on your expertise, because obviously on there you can only share so much on your profile. So if they want to learn more about what makes you an expert, be ready to actually present all of your data to back up what you're saying. You can use your bio, website, blog, ebook link, or an article that you wrote to show the audience and to the journalists that you are indeed an expert on that topic and you have a following and you've been doing this for a while and you're not new to this space. You can add links, obviously, to those pitches and things like that, but don't be too spammy about it. An hour a day on Haro saves my day. I only spend up roughly about an hour daily, and even on the weekends if I'm browsing Haro. Don't spend more time on that. And that gives me enough insights and everything that's related to my business and niche. It also gets me links, gets me mentioned, gets me features, and much more. So tell me if you also want to be in the spotlight or press. And if you do, shoot me a message and let's talk. Let's see how I can put you in the spotlight. Let's see how I can help you build your brand. I can set you up with the best personal branding and PR insights. You guys obviously know I do a ton of work in personal branding. We've been featuring a lot of people on our site. We've been bringing them on to interview. We've been coaching them one-on-one, step by step, on how to get into big name publications, how to write for them, how to become a contributor, how to get quoted and mentioned. And I would be more than happy to work with you on this as well. So shoot me a message and let's chat. Thank you again, guys. This is all I'm going to have for today on this presentation, and I will catch you guys on the next video.